I've got the terrible giggles
just
because Will's like, so what did I have? Like soil in the pocket and a cactus coming out. I was like, oh God, can't take him anywhere.
Yes, people. Hang on. Look at Hobble here. Look at you hobbling on. Look. What's happened?
I played football last night and I'm not as young as I used to be and my legs are killing me.
Told you, mate. You're playing football with these young whippersnappers.
Well, to be fair, the youngest player in the group of players that I play with on a Tuesday night is 21. In fact, sometimes the lad who plays is 18. But the oldest player is 75. So it's a spread.
So who are you marking? A 75-year-old?
Yeah, that's a...
Go on,
hey, I'm not
go
daft.
past me.
I'm not daft. I make sure that's who I stand myself next to and go, still got it, still dominating. And even then, not that
so
well.
So have you done? You've hurt yourself?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm just a bit stiff. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 5, Season 5 of 2 Pints with Will and Ralph. Thank you to everyone who has listened so far. Much appreciated. We got some viewer feedback. Before we talk about, I've actually left viewer feedback, listener feedback.
All right.
I'd like to talk about the One Show. We were on the One Show on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Anyone listening abroad, because we must, think about all of our listenership.
Oh, have we gone abroad?
I don't know.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Mon ami. What? Is that it?
Mon ami. That was
what does
good.
that mean?
Hello, my friend.
Oh, there you go. See, that's
Did
good.
you just make up some syllables?
Hola, senor. Hola, señorita.
Very good.
Dos cerveza, por favor.
That's all you need to know, isn't it? That's all you need to know. Yeah.
Où est le château? Where's the castle?
Je parle pas français.
That's all I know.
So we were
Ich bin 12 Jahre alt. That's all I remember at school.
You're 12 years old.
That's all I remember.
Don't go to Germany saying that. Imagine the confusion. Everyone's like, this guy's either in need of help or very creepy.
It's just, that's all I remember. I must have learned that when I was 12. And that's
and
all that's the only
Ich
bit.
bin 12 Jahre alt.
That's all it got.
Oh,
that's all
enough.
I've got.
Something stuck with you.
So I can order a beer in Spain and I can ask for the bill. What else do I need?
But in Germany, you can say I'm 12 years old.
Yeah,
and
that's
no one's going to sell you a beer, not just because you're claiming to be 12, but because they're going, this guy's crazy. For those listeners abroad, the One Show it's like a TV, like almost like a magazine show.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting show because you get huge, Hollywood A-list superstars on talking about their projects, and then you get people like me and you on. But then they have to do this funny thing. It's like an hour and 7 o'clock in the evening. And they'll be like, it didn't happen for us, but it's not uncommon for them to be like, thank you guys, your show sounds absolutely hilarious. Gosh, we can't wait. It sounds really funny and good luck with it. It's going to be great. Now, cancer in puppies is on the rise.
It does have a change of pace.
Like, just on a dime, they have to. So,
do you know what was good about when we recorded that? We was on with Kate Hudson, who is Goldie Hawn's daughter.
We thought that Kate Hudson was lovely and
She was lovely, wasn't she?
Bearing in mind her parents are Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Yeah. Big stars.
You could expect to perhaps meet somebody like that, and they've had a very sort of Hollywood upbringing and be very Hollywood. She was unbelievably down to earth and just really sound. What a really nice woman she was.
Do you know how somebody can fake interest into when they talk to you, and you can see they're phoning it in? She was genuinely interested.
No, she's just a good actor, Will.
No.
There's not a chance that she was interested. I wasn't interested.
She was.
And we've been mates for
interested
20 years.
in my stories. That was telling her.
Honestly, her patience while you bored the tits off her. Okay,
she was interested in my family upbringing.
This is what happened. Before we went on, so we've been introduced to her. And so, where are you guys from? And we said, Manchester. And I can't remember where she said, she said, I do a podcast with my brother, so I'm really interested in sibling dynamics. And she made the mistake of saying to Will, oh, are you a middle child? Oh, that was it. 20 minutes of Will going, during the war, I remember my great-great-great-grandpa. It was the most boring family history. And honestly, he was telling her, and she feigned interest like a champ.
She was
like
really
a champ.
interested.
He was like, so what happened was, I was the youngest, but then there were 5 of us, and I had sisters, and there was one sister, and let me tell you about her. These are her middle names. Her star sign was this. And I was going, Will, you're so boring. And he doesn't, I wish I'd taken a photo because Will doesn't remember this, but I couldn't stop laughing. I was just quietly laughing. He developed a lean.
What? I did not.
And I'm not saying that like you were trying to chat her up.
What do you mean leaning like what?
It was like like man spreading on like the tube or whatever. It was a leaning equivalent of a man spread. She was like standing in the doorway, right? And you're chatting to her, and as you got comfortable with your chat, right, this is what happened. You went, So yeah, I happen to be the youngest, and actually, what I found interesting about myself, and as time went on, the lean got more and more pronounced.
No, it
and
didn't.
At one point, you were practically vertical. It was horrifying to witness.
Listen, I just thought she was nice. And do you know what? I always think as well, you can have preconceptions of people. Because I saw her arrive and there was a bit of an entourage, 4 or 5 people carrying back.
That's a very LA Hollywood thing. She had a lot of entourage. But
I think it's key to remember. And I had to remember that myself because suddenly I did judge. I was like, oh, I'll bet she's like that. And I was wrong. And because I have had my fingers burnt before, I've met people before who have been, not them, but the people have been dicks.
Name names.
Well, I met Mariah Carey, right? And she was lovely, right? It was a strange how I got invited to the son of the Sultan of Brunei's birthday party.
I'm sorry. Let's unpick that.
We'll dive into that in a minute.
The son of the Sultan of Brunei's birthday party.
Yeah, I was invited.
Why were you
He
invited?
paid $1 million for Mariah.
For you to be there?
For me to be there.
Wow, I'm impressed.
And then, and Mariah Carey came for free. No, he paid $1 million for Mariah Carey to sit next to him at the top table.
Wow.
And it was Janet Jackson was there, and Neo, and Sophia Loren. It was a real mix of this kid but he was a fan of Hollyoaks back in the day, and he was only young, and he saw me in a club once, and I was with Michelle, and a bottle of champagne arrived at my table. He said, "That's from Prince Azim," and I thought he meant the boxer, Prince Nazim. And I went, "Oh, it's Nazim? Why is he buying me champagne?" And Prince Azim is the Sultan's son.
So the Sultan of Brunei's son is a fan of Neo, Mariah Carey, and old school Hollyoaks,
and Kavanagh, the singer. Remember Kavanagh?
Vaguely, yeah.
So he loved like the 90s Britpop.
That's
sort
an
of
eclectic
scene.
mix. That's an even
he was
more,
on my table.
That's
Cav.
an even more eclectic mix than the sofa at the One Show, to be honest.
But what I'm trying to get to is that. Do you know when you walk around going, "How am I here?" It was like what Madame Tussauds with a pulse. It was just everywhere you looked. It was like, Jesus, there's Mariah Carey. There's her. That's Janet. I was dancing on the dance floor, and Janet Jackson was behind me. It was like, can you believe this? Anyway, got all the pictures in my toilet at home. If you ever come to mine and you want to pee, it's there. They're all there.
You and Kavanagh.
No, he didn't make it. Neo, Janet Jackson, and Elizabeth Taylor, and all that.
What?
I'm telling you now.
And you from Hollyoaks?
Me, Jambo. So,
and I'm Jambo.
So, and Mariah Carey sat at her table. Anyway, Michelle was pregnant at the time. She just had the baby. And I said, we've got to get a picture of Mariah. And she had this security with her. And I sort of, on the way past, I sort of said, is it possible to get a picture? She said, yeah, later when we finish dinner, no problem. So later on, she was lovely. And then I go up to her and she stood up. And people are having pictures and I sort of waiting patiently. And then when I got to her, I said, "Do you remember me?" He said, "We'd have a picture." He said, "No problem. Hi." She said hello to my wife, and she was like, "Oh, you got a biracial children and all this." She was talking because she was seeing a black guy at the time. I can't remember. He's a presenter. He does.
Andy Peters?
Not Andy Peters.
Oh, go on.
Andy Peters.
He's a presenter and he's a black guy. That was the first person I thought.
You could have said Frank Bruno. It could be anybody, but what's he called?
He's the first presenter. I was like, live and kicking.
No, he was. He does America's Got Talent or something like that. He's a famous. You'll know him. I can't remember. Anyway, they split up now. But at the time, then, so we go to have the picture, and I just put my arm on her back, and this guy grabbed my arm like a vice. Do not touch Mariah. And I was like, chill out, what are you doing? Just having a picture. And this other guy moved me to the side. If you touch Mariah again, you're not having the picture. And I was just thinking, hang on, this is why they get a bad reputation. It's the dicks like you. She's fine. She's like, no problem, have a picture.
Where did you touch her exactly?
Ralph.
I'm just getting the facts clear.
It wasn't even on the crest of the Chad. It wasn't even on the lower back.
I don't think that would have helped. Mariah, do you mind if I touch you on the crest of the Chad? I feel like you're not the victim here.
No, what I'm saying
she doesn't
is,
want you touching her back.
What I'm saying, no, but don't touch her, basically. And basically what I'm trying to say is sometimes I think you have an impression of somebody. Like, here's another example. Michelle, my wife, was a performer and dancer, and she was performing on Top of the Pops or something like that for an artist. And the same day, Jennifer Lopez was due to arrive. So they got everybody in the room, and they all and her people came in and said, you're not allowed to look at Jennifer Lopez in the eyes. Do not look at Jennifer Lopez when she comes past you. And Michelle sat there thinking, hang on, I can look where I fucking want. Don't tell me I can't look at Jennifer Lopez in the eyes. And she said, when she turned up, we all had to stand there at the side of the corridor, and everyone put their heads down. And I thought, bollocks, I'm looking. And she was trying to wave at everyone going, hi, hi.
Yeah.
And everyone had their head down. And she said, I don't think she even knew that her people had said, don't look at Jennifer Lopez.
That's the question, isn't it? And as we've got older and we've met more and more people and more of these kind of very powerful A-list people, my experience has been, as a general rule, that the more huge and successful people are, as a general rule, the sort of nicer and more chill they are. And maybe it's the people who are on a level below or another level below who feel like they've got something to prove. But
it's their people that are letting them
I
down.
think it's very possible that people don't know that this has been said. Now, as far as Kate Hudson, I don't think for a second Kate Hudson's listening to this going, I wonder if the lads are talking about me.
But she was lovely,
But she was lovely. And if she does have a listen, I also should say this. When you're looking at that kind of entourage thing that a lot of LA actors have, a lot of it's not necessarily. I mean, they could opt out of that, but that's pretty standard as well. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily reflect on someone going, oh, they're up themselves or whatever. It's like, she won't be paying for that. The production company who made the TV show will be paying for that. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
So she did have her own makeup artist and a publicist and a stylist and all that kind of thing. But that's pretty normal. So there you go. Kate Hudson was lovely. Will was leaning at almost a 90-degree angle. My other favourite bit was that they were talking about.
Don't tell. Listen, he's going to tell you something now, and don't tell me this that I'm wrong for thinking this.
Okay, well, let's put it out there and see what people think.
Go on, then.
So they went, okay, so Kate, thanks for talking to us about your new album that's coming out, because Kate Hudson's going into a music career. Now, let's go to a video where we look at pocket gardens.
Right, listen to the pocket gardens.
And this video about, 3-minute video about little urban spaces and not a lot of space to grow stuff, and how good it is for mental health for people to be able to have small gardens that are known as pocket gardens. Halfway through, Will leans over to me and he goes, all right, I thought pocket gardens were people actually growing a little garden in their pocket.
What's wrong with that? That does what it says on the tin. And you know what it's like nowadays, these newfangled bullshit ideas. Grow a rose in your pocket, give it to your loved one.
No one's ever had that idea.
Well, hey, it sounded like it to me.
And that was it. We're supposed to be on the one show. They still wanted to talk to Kate Hudson. And all that's happened is I've got the terrible giggles because Will's like, so what did I have, like soil in the pocket and a cactus coming out? I was like, oh God, can't take him anywhere.
Well, I had this image of these people now with these massive pockets, and they go
like clown pockets.
Yeah, big clown pockets.
Mine's a 5-acre estate.
Go, look at these daisies I've grown in my pockets this last month, and I just think it's coming. Pocket gardens, and honestly, I just sort of see it and say it, and I thought that's what it was.
That's a new idea for some merch, isn't it?
What?
The 2 pints with Will and Ralph pocket garden. You just get like a little sachet of soil and a seed and go stick that in your pocket.
There was one thing I was going to mention.
Yes.
Right? Do you know you're talking about these famous people, how some people they can be misconstrued and they're nice people and don't judge a book by its cover and all that sort of stuff. There is a few people out there that I've seen the last week. And there's one in particular, I just think, how much attention do you want? What an absolute bellend. And this is Jaden Smith going to the Grammys with a fucking church on his head. Did you see it?
No.
Right.
Show me the Jaden church.
All right, I found it. So anybody out there, Google this, right? He went to the Grammys, Jaden Smith. Now remember, he's Will Smith's daughter.
No, he's not.
Son.
Yep.
Jada Smith, what's his mum called?
Jada Pinkett?
Jada
Pinkett Smith now.
So, listen, they're a very famous family, right?
Yeah.
He's done a few movies himself. Why would you need to go to the Grammys like that? Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. Now, you tell me, how desperate have you got to be? Ralph, give me your opinion on that picture.
Okay, so
don't you tell me there's a reason why he's got a fucking big castle on his head with a face bit cut out.
There's the picture for the camera. Now, okay, you know it's often a thing that we do where we try and be.
Go on,
try and see some points of view.
Reason why you would go.
Well-
What are you wearing tonight?
Well-
I've got my suit on, Mum. Where's my church for me head?
We've discussed about artistic expression. Bear with me. Let me speak.
You've got to talk
We've
some
no,
bollocks
I'm
now.
not. We've discussed about artistic expression, and it's a bit like if he wants to go wearing a church on his head, let him go wearing a church. Doesn't affect me. Doesn't affect you. If that makes him happy, fair enough. However, as a general rule, it's not something I find I can get on board. If he wants to do that, you do that, but it's not something I can get on board with. And my feeling is always the same whenever you see the Met Gala or the Met Ball and all this sort of stuff, and it's like. Or honestly, like high fashion. Anytime you see someone and like, oh my God, they're so fashionable.
Come on, high fashion. He's got a pissing black
No,
church on
I
his
know,
head.
but this is what I mean. But like, even if it's not as extreme as that, but if you're turning up to the Met Gala dressed as a fucking balloon,
What, you're talking about Sam Smith?
yeah, like Sam Smith,
I just wanted a big pin.
a massive, big,
pop it up.
a huge knitting needle, and
Watch him fly around everywhere.
I'm just, I honestly, and this is why I'm not like a. I mean, maybe I don't have that creative
you know
flow
what?
or
I
whatever,
think
but
it's simpler.
some people will. But honestly think at the cutting edge of fashion, it's a big swizz because it's like, okay, I'm going to be the most fashionable person. Really, what you're going to wear? I don't know. I'm going to think of the way I can most look like a. And if I can look like a more convincingly than anyone else,
Hey.
then we're good.
Well, Jaden won.
Well, yeah, he's got a
the award-
church on
He
his
got
head.
the award for looking like the biggest dick. What it says to me is, at what point do you think, right, it's a black tie event, how can I stand out? I know what I'm going to do is get a big sort of house churchy looking thing, paint it black, cut the face out, put that on my head.
Why is it that important to stand out, actually?
This is my point, is how famous do you need to be? How desperate do you want people to...
I do
Because
have
that
to
is
say,
why
though,
he's done it, for attention.
Flip side, though.
How much attention do
I
you need?
I remember a few years ago when he first started, like, becoming, like, really... Because Hector Bellerin, you remember Hector Bellerin, who used to play for Arsenal? He's, like, really high fashion and sort of dresses like... But
I don't
he's,
think that's high fashion.
no, but this is what I mean. They're always trying to, like, push this. Oh, my God, look how creative I'm being. I'm pushing it. But when Jaden Smith, when he started to be all kind of high fashion a few years ago, he turned up... I think he turned up in a dress to a red carpet thing. And I've got to say, I thought it was baller. I actually thought he looked really
At least
cool.
it's clothing.
Well, it's not just that it's
That's
clothing.
like something made by Blue Peter.
It's
stuck
not
on his
just
head.
it's not just that it's clothing, but it's like we're back to the plums thing. Like there's a kind of, it feels like that was an important artistic expression. He was like, everybody's talking about like gender conformity and whatever. I'm Jaden Smith. I'm just gonna wear a dress. I don't give a shit. And I remember thinking, what a cool dude.
But what I think now is, he's gone there.
Now he's
with
like,
this-
now I'm making a statement for churches.
Well,
they're no longer allowed to be on heads,
I don't
and
know.
I'm fighting that.
He's basically got Hogwarts sprayed in black stuck on his head. Now, where does he go next time? Because he's got to level up.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hang on, where's the church on your
He
head?
needs all of Middle Earth as a hat.
And it just says, it just smacks of desperation to be talked about. And I just think, come on, man.
Hey,
how famous do you want to be?
It's working though, isn't it?
Because we're talking about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hope he's listening, you dickhead. And also, here's another thing.
That's your invite to Will
That's me
Smith's
for
next
this.
party
I'm
done.
off the Christmas list. And there was another one. Kanye West turned up with his missus,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
completely see-through. So
I mean,
you
she
could
was
see-
basically naked, wasn't she?
naked. Again, Kanye.
If you look on social media as
just-
well,
let me say
anytime
this.
you look on social media, you're like, it's completely split. It's completely binary between going, this is a massive attention seek, and she's got a right to
Exactly.
glorify the female body. And I'm a bit like,
He's trying to get a name for her
do
because
you know what? I don't know if I have an opinion. I don't have a strong opinion about going, what's she thinking? And I don't have a strong opinion about this is really sort of glorifying the female body. I mainly, my main opinion as a 45-year-old miserable old man is, oh, who gives a shit? Like, honestly,
desperation,
like,
Ralph. It's
all,
desperation.
it's all just so
and I just think
tiresome.
for Kanye, he's obviously trying to get her a name. He stood next to her. He obviously wants her to go out dressed like that because he's taking her to the red carpet. And I just think, Kanye, relax your billionaire self. Go and spend some money. Stop trying to get attention, man.
At least buy her a dress.
Go buy her some fucking underwear. He's a billionaire. It shows you how much money you've got. People are still desperate for attention, and it drives me insane.
Well, is it sort of boredom or slash something more like? Is it about boredom or is it about a drive for like validation?
Maybe.
Validation, just going. I'm relevant. I'm relevant. Look at me. And listen, we're actors. Like we've grown up, and when you have that, like we've been talking many times in the past about it's nice if somebody recognises you. It just gives you that little buzz. And even though we have talked about like how complicated it can be if they don't ask you, of course it's nice to have that little bit of validation and blah blah blah. But I have found as I've got older, I've become less bothered about like my ambition is sort of dulled, but in a way that I'm quite pleased with. Of course, I want to be successful in my career.
You don't feel like chasing it all the time.
Of course, I want to be successful in my career, and of course, I want to aim, and of course, I'd love to do a Hollywood film, and of course. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay, and I feel like really happy that I've come to that.
Imagine you're Kanye West,
whereas
they're still desperate.
Maybe we should just walk out naked onto a red carpet.
We might get seen more, and I think they got kicked out as well. So how embarrassing! Listen, that's all I had to say on what we went from meeting Kate Hudson to how lovely she was to all that spills out, but. It's out there, and I just think there's certain people that you might see and you might think they're like this, but they're not, and vice versa. So always don't judge people on face value. Give them a chance. But I'm sorry, if you've got an house on your head, you've got issues.
Yeah.
And not only that, you've thought your family have no one said, "What the fuck are you doing?" No one's gone, "Jaden, you look great. Why have you got that castle on your head?"
Yeah, Jaden, I love that suit. You look so cool. I'm just gonna put my hat on.
Oh,
wait.
Hold on. Hang on. Did you make it yourself? Get it off. You look like a right dick. No one's saying anything like that. They've sent him out in front of the world's press. It just baffles me head.
He's expressing himself.
Anyway, how's your week been?
Well, it's all right. Listen, we got some feedback from our last couple of pods.
Okay.
We were talking about mic muffs.
Oh, yes.
And how you wanted one, and how you've been complaining to me.
I didn't complain. I said, is anyone concerned about...
You've been patronising me to fuck for quite a while.
the pops on the mic, I was saying.
You've been... Ralph, you're off mic. And I'm like, no one cares. And I'm like, does anyone care? And you were like... And I was like, well, stop doing that then. Okay. And you were like, oh, I hate it. And I said to everyone...
Are you bothered?
Can you let us know if you're bothered?
What did they say? Don't read
the general consensus is no one gives a shit.
Okay.
If you want one, Will Venus message to say he's a wig maker and could make a wig for your mic if you want one.
Thank God he said Mike. I thought he meant me bald spot's getting bigger. Like bollocks, I'm sticking with the spray
Will
for now,
Venus,
Mike.
Can you help Will out with his bald spot? Or get us a Mike Merkin. That's what it should be called.
Mike Merkin?
Mike Merkin.
Yeah.
So no one gives a shit. Told you.
Okay.
We also discussed coming of age films, because I was talking about how brilliant Big Mouth is. I don't know if you've watched it yet, but you should.
Yes.
And Sean Chris 8290 message to say that Patang Yang Kipperbang is an amazing coming of age film.
Patang Yang Kipperbang.
Craig Cash's favourite film.
Oh, Patang Yang Kipperbang.
Isn't it absolutely fantastic?
Yeah,
I've not seen it for years.
Jesus, just came flooding back.
Yeah, I know exactly. So I can't wait to see that. Your artwork, your plum artwork, talking about
don't tell me I've had an offer.
Jaden Smith has actually made a bid because he wants to use it as his hat for his next red carpet.
Yeah, you could have my plums on your head next time you go down that red carpet. What's that on your head? Will Mell's plums.
Weirdly, that's not the first time you've said that to another person.
Let's see what my plums would look like on your head.
Craig Meekle 7634 said on YouTube, did you say that your plums are starting at 4.2 million?
No, I said I'll take $1 million.
But you said something about 4.2. Anyway, Craig Meekle on YouTube said plums are starting at 4.2, but he's written £4.20.
Right. So no, I'm not accepting that offer.
So hold on, everyone out there. Bids are still open. So far, we've got a highest bid of £4.20 for Will's plums on a board, and you get the gaffer tape as well.
I feel a bit insulted.
I mean,
£4.20.
They're juicy plums.
Listen.
I think they'd actually be worth more than that if they were just in a bag.
Well, they might be. Now they've been sat here for a week, they look more like my balls because they've started to shrivel up a bit and they've got more wrinkly. and there's a bit of ooze coming out of them. Sorry. Listen, let me just clarify. There's no ooze coming out of my balls. I don't need medical attention. It was just a joke. This in hell.
And then bright purple and seeping, and Will's going straight to the hospital from here. Rude place names we did on a recent podcast. Abigail messaged to say, how did we not mention Cockermouth?
Oh yes.
Yeah, thanks for that, Abigail. We'll always think of you now. So yeah, that was. So yeah, that's us all caught up.
I'll tell you what I haven't mentioned. I was in Tenerife last week. Went there for a little bit of a 5-night break with my missus. Lovely, really nice. Holidays for me.
You've been banging on about your tan ever since you got
Well,
back.
you know, I knew I was doing some TVs with you, and I thought, how can I make Ralph look even more pale? Make sure I spend every minute I can in the sun. And also, I've been feeling a bit crap. That cough and cold that everyone seems to have got.
Oh, mate. Oh, I'm not going to be able to record any podcast.
Hey, do you know what? I hope you get it. I hope you get it. It's coming.
I got the black lung, Pop.
Everyone seems to have got it. Anyway, I went there and it made me feel so much better with the sun on my face. I tell you what, I did think, and I thought I'll talk to you about this. Right. It's a few pet peeves that I've got, right?
Okay,
and it happens a lot.
Right.
Traveling, and I know you've got a pet peeve about
traveling.
Yours
Airport
is
etiquette. I can't bear it.
Airport trays, innit?
Yeah.
About people not
People
putting
just leaving it. Oh, and when that clip went out on social media, a load of people on Instagram, a load of people were like, "Yeah, it really annoys me," but a load of people were like, "Well, isn't that someone else's job?" And it's like, no, it isn't. No, and do you know what? Even if it is, it's a bit like, what I don't get is, I think most people I know, me and you got here today.
Calm down, Ralph.
I'm fuming. Me and you got here today, right?
Yeah.
And because we were doing like media appearances, interviews, and whatever, there was a car that had been paid for us by the radio stations, whatever. And there was just a really nice car, and this driver, sort of always sort of suited and booted. And when we got out of the car, the driver sort of leapt out of the car and went to open the doors for us. And we were like, "Oh, thanks, mate." And then he opened the boot, and he was sort of desperately trying to get our bags out the boot. And we were like, "Mate, no, it's all right. I can do it." Now, technically that is his job. But we've got enough sort of general courtesy and etiquette to go, "Oh, listen, thank you.
Just be a decent
let me
person,
help you, right?"
Yeah.
And it's like,
considerate.
It's not your job as a human being in the world to have to open a door for someone and leave a door open or pull out somebody's chair or just general sort of social currency like that. That's not your job. So, yeah, technically it might not be your job to move your fucking tray after you've emptied it, after you've gone through the x-ray machine. Technically it might be someone else's job, but look around and realise that you're causing a hold-up and you've got to...
Leave it, Ralph.
Responsibility.
Ralph, leave it. You're going to pop. Do you know what it is for me as well? Because I want to go into planes and stuff, but same with shopping trolleys in car parks.
Exactly. Somebody messaged me on that thing and they went, "Oh, I suppose you're one of these people who takes your shopping cart back to the thing."
Yes!
Like, yes, I am! And why is that?
Not
Why
only
are
that,
you slagging
not
me
only
off for
that, you're not having my pound.
No.
You need to get your pound coin out of the thing.
Oh, well, I do it.
I take them back and collect the pounds.
I do it for altruism. You do it because you're a tight bastard.
Tight as a fish's arsehole. Like the terminal. Do you remember when he worked out in the terminal, the film, when he collects all the trolleys and collects all the money? That's me. But no, I see there was a guy actually who worked at Tesco's or something. One of these many shopping places, and there was someone filming it, and this woman got out. She got shopping, emptied out, and just pushed it to one side and got in her car. And this bloke who had a high vis on, who obviously works there, just pulled the shopping trolley back and left it behind her car, so she couldn't get out, and stood there. And she got out and went mad at him. How dare you? How dare you? He said, "There's a place for your trolley."
Good for him.
And she'd left it in a place so no one else could park in a different space, and she moved it again, didn't take it back, so then he turned it on the side and just walked off behind her car, so she had to get out.
Good for him.
But
I love that.
But people were saying, "Well, that's his job." Like
no,
you said, it's like, no, it's common courtesy here.
Yeah, and you know what? It might be his job, but you can be a polite, decent human being. And if you can't be a decent, polite human being, don't be surprised if people are going to be rude to you.
Well,
good.
Mine was on the plane. You know how everyone gets a bit of bad stomach on planes, farts on planes. Everyone's renowned for farts. And do you know what I always think? You can let them rip there because no one knows who it is, right? And I don't mind when it's mine, but someone else in front of me, Jesus Christ, you could have cut it with a knife, right? That's only part of it. And Michelle's nudging me. Is that you fine? I was like, it's not me, actually, this time, thank you. I was asleep then. And I went to the toilet. I thought, I'm awake now. I went to the toilet and I went in and someone had pissed all over the seat.
Oh.
And now for me...
Get some toilet paper and wipe it off.
Again, it happens in
train
pubs,
toilets.
it happens in trains. I'll go on to a train story in a minute. But I just thought, I'm now wiping up a stranger's piss because I don't want to leave. And next person comes in.
Yeah.
Hey, I had that on a train. When you're going on a train and you go in and there's a floater. Now, I understand some shit.
There's a wee jobby.
There's a wee jobby.
There's a wee jobby in the train toilet.
Exactly, and like Billy Connolly
Don't live
says,
a little, live a lotto.
Well, like Billy Connolly says in this story, is you can't leave.
No.
You're there battering this shit with toilet paper, trying to get it to sink. Every time you flush it, you go boop, 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 boop. It pops back up. And you can't leave, because if you do, you can't go, by the way, that's not mine.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, that shit in that toilet's not mine. It was there before I came in. 'Cause you just can't. So I just think common courtesy is don't piss all over a seat and just think, fuck it, it's not my house.
So
clean up after yourself.
So when I years and years ago, I was flying to America, and I'm excellent. I'm an expert at falling asleep on planes, so it's just time travel. You fall asleep, you wake up, 7-hour flight, doesn't matter.
Wow.
And I put like a coat or a hoodie, whatever, over my head, so it's dark and I don't get.
I think you do that because that time people were taking pictures of you and videoing you while you were
Exactly,
asleep.
yeah.
You're
And
an
ever
ugly
since then, if
sleeper.
I'm going to fall asleep, I'll just
Gob open.
So I fell asleep, and just as I'm about to fall asleep, before they've gone, the exits are here, and here. I'm at the window seat, and there's this young couple, late 20s, I'd guess, American couple. And anyway, don't think anything of it. And I fall asleep, and as I'm falling asleep, I just hear my stomach go, blub, 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 blub.
Oh.
And I was like, whatever. Exactly. And I don't think anything of it. Anyway, about an hour later, I sort of, when you just go, huh, and I sort of snapped awake. And as I snapped awake, not deliberately, it was in my sleep, just as I was asleep, I accidentally let out, when it burns as it comes out.
Oh, no. Is it one you can't trust?
Well, it was okay. No, I could trust it, but it still burnt as it came out. And I was like,
that's going to smell.
And I was like, oh dear.
Silent but deadly.
And I was like, oh dear, I'm about to go. Oh well, never mind. I won't do that again because I was asleep. I'll fall back asleep. And as I went to fall back asleep, after about 10 seconds, I just heard, there was a guy and a girl. I just heard, oh my God. Oh my God. And then I heard this female voice go, oh my God, babe, say something. What's he meant to say? Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Could you not? Right?
Can you not have your shit particles up my nose?
But the problem is because when she went, oh my God, say something, I then started laughing nervously. So I'm trying to hide under a hoodie, going, please don't let me see my shoulders moving, but I'm just going. So that's it. Then I went to sleep, and hopefully I didn't gas them out again. But I did feel bad.
The last bit on this, because
bad.
this is 100% true.
Can you imagine it being so bad on a plane that your wife says, "Can you have a word?"
You've got to have a word there. It's burnt my nostril hairs off.
That's not on.
Right, I've got one more story on this sort of subject, and this is the God's honest truth. I was on a train. I can't remember where I was going, and I going to the toilet on this train. I was looking for the toilet, and I've seen some train toilets have the little small doors where you just walk in. It's a little small. Oh, you've got them sort of round ones where you press a button and it sort of goes.
Yeah.
It's a bit like,
and you never know if they're locked.
Right. It's a bit like a blind date reveal.
Blind date.
Exactly. Let's listen to Graham. So, I'd pressed the button and it slowly revealed an elderly lady having a shit.
Oh no, bless her.
And she was going, no. She couldn't get off the toilet to press the button because she had now on.
Oh no.
And I've turned round to not face her going, I'm not looking. And everyone's trying to look because I'm not looking. And she's going, no.
Oh, that's broken my heart.
And it's just slowly revealing more
Oh.
and more. And when it finally reached its destination, me covering my eyes, reached in, feeling for the button, while she's going, no!
Wait, what?
What? Not that.
It wasn't like Naked Gun, was it? Where you going?
Yeah. Feeling for the button, I was going, I'll just give this a tweak while I'm here. No, none of that. No, I reached and I found the button and pressed it, and it slowly closed on it. It was one of them moments where once it closed, I absolutely pissed myself.
Oh, mate, I'm not.
Because I felt so sorry for her. But so I was trying to protect her privacy. But the more she was going no, and I was going, I'm not looking, the more heads kept popping round the corner.
Do the voice again.
No. She was going, but she couldn't. She was frozen mid shit. She couldn't get up to turn it off to stop the door, and she couldn't. So it was awful for her. But for me, it was so embarrassing. But Do you know when it's like a car crash?
Yeah, it's you I feel sorry for in this situation.
Feel sorry for me. Fucking burnt my retinas out.
Do the voice.
No. She was, and I'm going, no, so I'm not looking. And then all these heads from everywhere start popping around the door, looking at this woman on the toilet. It was the worst blind date reveal you've ever seen. And I felt so sorry for her. And then, obviously, I closed the door and I waited.
Broke my heart.
And I had to wait. And in the end, I just thought, I can't wait. I can't be here when she comes out. So I went and found another toilet. I thought, I'm not diving into that one.
No, and also, don't make her look you in the eye after she leaves.
No.
God, that's actually broken my heart.
Well,
that's really
God's on his
upsetting.
truth. Anyway, that's tied up by some toiletry stories.
God.
One thing I do want to say before we wrap up, it was your birthday, wasn't it?
It was my birthday, February the 8th.
Did you do it? Did you do anything special?
Do you know what I did? I did a driving day, did a driving experience. And actually, do you know what? I'm going to mention him because this wasn't a freebie. Listen, you and I, particularly you love a freebie. You'll be like that. Hey, I did a driving experience with these guys. Right. I just paid. Well, I didn't just pay.
I do pay for things. Right?
Bollocks.
Don't talk shite.
Bollocks. You do pay for things if you can't get a
I'm going to the theatre tonight.
And you're furious. Yeah, you're fuming about it.
It's cost me a fortune. I'm gutted.
Yeah. So this was just paid for. So it wasn't a blag or anything like that. And it's called PSR Driving Experiences. And they're like not the biggest outfit, but I'm giving them a big up because I just turned up as a paying customer, but they happened to recognise me and they were like, "Oh, listen, it's really nice to have you here." And they just went out of their way, sort of above and beyond, and it was a great day. I drove a Aston Martin V8 Vantage, which was quite nice because I used to have one. Yeah. A 911. I drove a Lamborghini Huracan around the track.
Yes. I got one in for my daughter's not graduation, what do you call it? Prom. I hired one for the prom for the day. Unbelievable. The sound it makes.
Was quick.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Ferrari 458. And do you know what I did drive? A 1965 Mustang. And in a weird way,
classic.
It was more fun than any of the others because you really have to yank it around and everything.
Yeah.
Scott at PSR Experiences really looked after us, and they didn't pay me for this or anything, but they were just great. So I would genuinely, I try not to recommend anything unless I really think it's worth recommending, and they were absolutely great. So thank you to those guys. In fact, you said that you saw
I got a message of someone saying they'd seen you.
You've seen Ralph at Three Sisters. Yeah, no, it was a good day. So I guess that's it. That's it for us for this episode.
I'm off to the theatre tonight, so I'll speak to you about that on the next pod.
I'm also off to the theatre. I'm off to the theatre in Chester, weirdly. I'm going to see I'm going to see a musical version of David Baddiel's children's book.
Right.
Which is very complicated.
We'll discuss this next
time.
I'm going to see Cabaret with my daughter and my wife, so I'll let you know. Okay. I'll let you all know what we think of that. And we'll get into the theatre discussion next week.
All right, perfect. Thank you to everyone. Listen, people have bought tickets for the tour.
Thank you very much.
And I don't know if we're supposed to talk numbers or not. I'm not going to talk specific numbers, but tickets are selling
quick.
Better than we dared hope for.
Unbelievably so. But
thank you so much
for your support.
So please do come. A reminder of all the dates and all the details are on twopintspodcast.com. And we are here to entertain you all week. Main podcast drops on a Monday. What Will William Tell on a Wednesday. Swift Half on a Friday. And then on Saturday we upload the main pod on YouTube.
Yep.
And basically the idea is to keep everybody laughing with all our nonsense
Thanks
all
for
week.
staying on board with us. Thanks for buying tickets. Thanks for tuning into our pod.
Please, we have to say on YouTube, please rate, review, and subscribe. It does make a difference, and we really appreciate it. That's it. That's it for this week.
Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Hope you enjoyed it.
All right.
Should we walk out, Ralph, or you stay where you are? He's injured.
You walk out. I'll see.
You need to start looking at your pissing passport. You're an old man now. Stop playing football.
Jeez.
See you later, people.